This one stock we're going to talk about today makes up 80% of my portfolio. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm high convicted into this stock, and it's going to be very difficult to change my mind. But I'm going to be holding this stock for the next 10 to 20 years. Now, if you watch Tom Nash, he's another YouTuber, you'll definitely know the stock I'm talking about. And this is actually how I found him, because I was doing research on Palantir. This is the stock that makes up 80% of my portfolio. And if you don't know what Palantir is a data analytics company that takes points and bits of data from millions of inputs of entries of data from around the world, from different sectors, and finds underlying patterns between them and uses it to spit out an output that's easy enough for people like you and me to understand. So I'll give you a scenario I'm going to give for you is a totally made up scenario, but it's going to just give you the gist of how this product works. So you are the user. This is you right here. And you're looking to figure out how many items you're going to sell in winter, and you sell snow boots, okay? And you're in the Swiss Alps. This is your company. You're in the Swiss Alps. You sell snow boots. Well, what it's going to do is it's going to take data from the oil industry. Say it's going to figure out gas is $70 a barrel and it's down 2%. And airline travel is up 3% and tickets stay flat. Inflation is at 2% as expected for this case, and unemployment is down 4%. The average person has a 730 credit score and $3,000 in their bank account, and their spending habits have gone up by 20%. Use the user who uses, this is the ticker right here, PLTR. You use Palantir software. It's going to collect all this data, and it's going to pinpoint it to you, and it's going to say, well, based off this information, you're expected to sell an increase of 30% because gas has dropped, and so it means the airline ticket, it's easier for airlines to travel and it's less cost on them. The inflation's not bad. More people have jobs. More people have money in their bank accounts. They have a decent credit score. They're spending more money and they're traveling more. Well, with all that data, you're more likely to sell 30% more of your product. That's how that works, because what Palantir allows, now you don't know where this data comes from. That's all about their privacy, right? So you don't know that you're getting from the gas and airlines and Federal Reserve data and the banks. All it tells you is based off Palantir data, you're expected to sell 30% more. And same thing with gas, right? Or we'll say the airline travel. You're the user here. Ooh, I don't know why I just spelled that back and jumbled. You're the user here, the airlines. Well, it's going to connect all this data now over here. Sorry if it's messy. I feel like a finance professor at my school. You're collecting all this data now, right? You're seeing that the Swiss Alps, they're spending 30% more of their products. They're selling 30% more. The banks have good credit scores. They have a little bit extra money. People have jobs and inflation's not high. Gas has dropped. You can expect to sell 3% more tickets or whatever, right? Or increase your airline sales. That's how Palantir works. It takes data from across the board. Now, this is just a small point, because it'll take into account computer shit. It'll take account to whatever it possibly can, and it'll spit out data for you to understand. That's how Airbus, if you watch one of Tom Nash's videos, he talks about how Airbus is able to save, I think it was like $1 million a year in fuel consumption by rerouting their landing plans and their traffic ways. Palantir does this better than anybody else. And on top of it too, Palantir works with one of the biggest data companies. And I'll give you time to guess down below in the comments what company I'm about to say. Because not many people know that that Palantir works with this company. They work with Amazon. They work with Amazon Web Services. So that means they're collecting all the data from companies that work with Amazon Web Services. Any company that lists their product information or whatever on Amazon Web Services, Palantir has the data to. So if you're Coca-Cola or whatever, or your, I don't know, whatever diaper company is, and they see diapers are selling at an increased rate on an auto rebuy, that can take into account now for their storage. It's crazy the amount of data they're collecting and the amount of data they're analyzing. Fun fact, this company was the company, or speculated to, they can't really release it, but they were one of the companies that helped to find Osama bin Laden after 9/11, help him find and kill him, because they were able to pinpoint all this data from around the world and use that to locate him. I think that's crazy. And you know what? A company that Amazon is using to help them better manage their sales and better manage their data, it's only a matter of time. In my opinion, it's not financial advice, matter of time before other companies realize the power of Palantir. That's why I think, I'm putting it here now for everybody to see, in 10 years, I will die on the stake. Palantir, let's hope I get this number right, will be, I want everybody to see it, a $1 trillion company. I think in 10 years, Palantir will be a $1 trillion company. That'll put it at a $500 price tag when the shares are currently trading at, I think it's $13 or $14. We'll say 14 to be conservative. For the next 10 years, I think Palantir is going to go from $14 to $500 a share. Call me crazy, but now I have reasons. Now they give a big rundown of what the company does. Who runs the company? Two big people. You might have heard of one, but Alex Karp is one of them. He's the CEO of the company, and he runs the show. Another guy is Peter Thiel. You might have heard of him. He was one of the people that helped found PayPal, and he also wrote a book, 0 to 1. Great book, by the way, if you've not read it. But these two understand what's called the network effect. This is where companies or products or things take time, but once it branches out enough and once it lays out enough seeds, they all grow. All of a sudden, you realize you plant your seeds across the garden. Doesn't seem like much at first, but after a year, you have a huge, massive garden that's extremely fruitful. That's why Alex Karp always preaches to be patient. And if you're not patient, you're looking for profits. Now there are other places to put your money. I like that mentality. This is like an Amazon of the early 2000s. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody cared. They thought it was garbage stock. Everybody ignored it. All of a sudden, one day, it becomes a huge 800-pound gorilla. And this thing just destroys the market. Amazon is a huge competitor, and nothing gets in the way of Amazon. I think it's the same thing with Palantir. And that's because the industry alone, the data analytics industry, is growing at a whopping 13.2% compounded annual growth rate. That means every year, the industry alone is growing at 13.2%. And that's going to be growing to, I believe, 2030, it's going to be growing at that rate. That's double-digit growth rate right there. Right? The S&P on average returns a 7 to 8% return every year. This is just the industry growing every year. Now, another fun fact. Over 2 years, from 2018 to 2020, Palantir's revenue increased by almost 90% more that they were making in just 2-3 years. Now, this means that their compounded annual growth rate was 22.43%. That's how much their revenue is growing year over year for the past 2 or 3 years, right? This is a company that's growing at a massive rate, and I don't think it's going to keep growing at this rate for many years to come, because the more clients they collect, the more their data becomes useful. The more their data becomes useful, more companies are going to want them, more companies are going to sign up, they're going to collect more data. The more data they have, the more useful the product becomes. It's a cycle, it's a vicious cycle, but it's good because The more it grows, the faster it grows, and the stronger it grows. And to me, that's a great investment, honestly. The bigger it becomes, the stronger it gets, and the faster it grows. That, to me, is fantastic. And they have a great product because it spits out the information that's easy enough for you and me to read. And if you notice, if you watch my last video, that hits every 4 main points of what I talked about. Great leadership, Peter Thiel and Alex Karp. The industry is growing at an extremely fast rate. Great balance sheet, and they have a great product and service. Now, this is not financial advice, but this company, Palantir, makes up 80% of my portfolio, and I'm proud to say it. And in 10 years, I hope I'm right, and if not, then I'm wagering a lot of money on this bet. But I really, 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 really like this stock. And even under $50, if the stock is under $50 in 5 years, even, if it's under $50 in 5 years, I'm still going to be buying it heavy. Because I think, just like Microsoft and Apple, right, their stock is going to, now people are going to notice it. All of a sudden, this is going to be the turning point. This is going to be the trajectory. People are like, oh crap, this is a legitimate company, and they have a lot to offer. Right? That's when people realize Apple, this is where Warren Buffett made a lot of money on Apple, is when people realize that they're not just a cell phone company. They're a products and service company. The stock is going to go, and it's going to go astronomical. Now, I'm a long-term investor. These hands are made of diamonds. So I can wait out this period. This will be my accumulation stage where, yeah, I have other companies I will be buying as well. But as long as this company stays flat or it has some dips, I'll be adding more money to this company. I don't really want to add more than 80% because then at that point I just go 100%. But I do own other companies which I'd love to make videos on. Apologize if I sound very hoarse. I am a tad sick. But Palantir is the stock for me. And I'm making, this is my declaration video. This is where I'm saying, this is the video. This is the investment. This is the company for me. And I know a lot of people, my friend groups, if you check out, he's on YouTube, Tetron LLC, but I think his channel is Tetron Invest. He also likes Palantir, but he doesn't really talk too much on his YouTube, but it's a huge position in his portfolio. If you go to Tetron Invest on Instagram, right, he posts pictures of his portfolio. He's got a pretty decent sized holding. Another one is Blind Conception. That's one of my friends. He has a company. He's heavy on Palantir as well, right? This is a stock where me and my friend group, like we have a group of friends where we're all invested in stock. Palantir is a winner for all of us. I think we're all in on Palantir. I just have the biggest position. I believe in Palantir. I'm leveraged up in it. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely have some margin enabled and some long-term options, but I can wait it out, and I'm okay with the stocks being beaten up and misunderstood. Just gives me more opportunity to buy. That being said, thank you guys for watching my video. Palantir to the moon. We gotta be patient. And if you're gonna add anything, only if you're unsure, make it a very small position. If you really don't know, if you're an older investor or you're really looking for a gamble, make it a small position. But I highly suggest you do your own research and your own evaluation on the company. I've done my research. I love this company, and that's why I have 80% of my money in it. So, have a good night, guys.